Hello, Purposive Communication classmates. Today, I would just like to clarify or walk you through our final outputs relating or leading us to our final examinations. Okay, so as you can see from the list that I have shared with you yesterday, I already differentiated in here your individual task checklist from your group task checklist. So for your individual task checklist, you're already done with your critical listening. It's just a question which was posted in Google Classroom, your LinkedIn account, which was due yesterday, and your webinar notes, which was supposed to be to have been submitted last Saturday. But of course, there are some of you who did not have internet connections, but we accepted that. For the resume and cover letter, you're going to be submitting this one by Friday. And for your group checklist, that's all. That's everything for the individual tasks. So technically, most of the things you're going to do for the finals will be based on group outputs, and the bulk of your final grade will be from your group output. So make sure that you are working with your group properly. As you can see, academic writing is due last December 4. I already checked this. I returned this to you. Your minutes of the meeting. So I hope that you have scheduled your meeting. I think there are some groups who met yesterday, and then there are some of you who are still meeting today or tomorrow. The minutes of the meeting is due on the 11th. That's going to be on Friday. And you have two things which are due next week, that's December 14. You're supposed to be submitting your infographics and your social media slides, and that's what I will walk you through today. And the last one is your advocacy video and advocacy website. For the advocacy video and advocacy website, it's already my I already have this idea, or my notion right now is that you are working on it. So I hope that you are working on your video and website. I don't need to, this is something that was discussed with you already last Saturday, so I will not give you a separate lecture for that. That's why I ask you to take notes during the webinar so that you have something to use individually or that you can share with your group mates. So you may start working on that. I will talk you later. I will talk to you later about the guidelines or mechanics later on. And of course, your simple advocacy website. You can use any of the you can use any in the website. We'll talk about that later. And finally, as part of your examination, you're going to do your advocacy defense. So those are things that we will be working on. For your examination, you're going to be doing a few items for the objectives, but you will also be having your advocacy defense. For the advocacy defense, I have something in mind, and I will discuss that with you later on. Okay, so as you can see in here, here is a sample of an of an IG slideshow. This is from Save Philippine Seas. I told you last time that this is similar to what you are going to be doing. So I hope that you already started. You have your annotated bibliography, you have your notes, you have your researches. You can use those in crafting these things. As you can see, kaya inuna natin yung research. Ano? That's why we started with that on the onset of the project or of the finals, because I want everything that you need, everything that you will use for your advocacy programs to be available or to be here when to be with you when you're going to use them. So as you can see, here's a sample. Hey Siri, what are the key terms I should know about climate change? So there it is. Okay, I found these key terms you should know about climate change. Check it out. Sagot ni Siri, and the Siri is spelled as Seari, as a reference to the ocean or to the sea. So there are some words in here like climate change, carbon sink, greenhouse gases, fossil fuels, renewable energy, the Paris Agreement, carbon footprint, global warming, mitigation, adaptation, SLR, which we call your sea level rise, your ocean acidification, etc. So the final slide was, thanks Siri, can you tell me how can we deal with climate change? Okay, I found this on the web, check it out. And there's a website in there. So that's an example of an advocacy campaign. It's an advocacy campaign because once people will read this or share this, they will understand. As you can see in the comments in here, it's an effective advocacy campaign. There were comments here that says something like, "This is so witty. High five to the artist. Series. Thank you for this. I love this. Thanks. Wittingly awesome. Love this. Cuteness series." So they love it because they learn from it, but they also appreciate it because of the design or because of the concept. Now, you'll also be doing your simple website. As Mom Lori shared last time, you can use a lot of things like Wix. There's another thing that I can share. This is your Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark is actually one of the nicer tools to use. You can also use this for other projects, but or we can use this for your website. So you can do this for your you can do this you just click here, you create an account first, okay? So once you have created an account, I want you to click the plus sign, and then go to web page, and then it's the same rule as Mom Lori shared. It's just that this one is, I think, easier to use, and I know that you can understand it, you can navigate through it properly because it's very simple. Photo, text, button, video, photo grid, slideshow, split layout. So those are things that you can use. I think that I have reasons to believe that Adobe Spark ang ginamit sa Stay Philippine Sea. So as you can see, it doesn't have to be very complicated. Of course, you are still in the first year, and this is just a classroom requirement. Although you have to give it your best, but it doesn't have to be this kind of project you are where you going to work doubly hard for it. It's okay. As long as we can, ang importante, what's the skill that I want to see in here? It's not, of course, the technical aspect is just part of it, but the most important part is how are you going to write your content effectively. So the way you create your titles, the way that you create your taglines, the way that you have content, it doesn't have to be very complicated. Of course, these websites are already established and they were done by professionals. They are done by even staff paid, bayad sila. But because it's just a classroom output, just one page is enough for me. So create the page, you can put your title in there. um I do not know if your of course it's also great if you will have a title or something. As you can see, body positivity, just for example, if that's your advocacy, they create a little subtitle or anything. And then it's just easy to add other things. You can add a photo. Remember what Mom Lori taught you about photos. You can also include text. So just put your text in there, and then put another one like a button. So you can put there extra. For example, there are some things that you want to show, like a related article or a journal article. You can actually do that. If you also want to include a photo grid, like photos to prove your point, you can also include in here, for example, your infographics, or you can even include here your slideshow. That's why here, so you can click the glide show, and then you can put here your slideshow, and then we'll when I will go through your website later on, when I will check, I will just glide through it, or I'll just go over it one by one. So this is also one of the nicer things to use. Another thing that I want to share is that there's something that Mom Lori said about images, typing 1080 or something. This is another trick, or this is another tip. For example, you want to look at a photo of a pangolin, my favorite animal. So just go to images, and then you go to tools, select tools, and then you go to size, and then you go to large. All of the images that will come out in there are large. As you can see, it's 3,291 times 1923. Malaki na yan. This is huge. Okay, and then you can see that these sizes are good for cover photos. Really interesting photos, right? So these are this is another way that you can select a larger photo that you can use for your website. All right, so that's the one. Okay, so this is you can use you can use Adobe Spark. After that, how are you going to you can actually preview while you are doing it. So when you are previewing, sorry, our neighbors are very noisy. So what you can do is you can also after you are done with it, for example, you are done, let's add a little bit of a theme so that it has a little bit of color into it. You just go to share, publish, and share link. Or you can also send to Google Drive, but this one is better. So just go to publish and share link, create your body, your title. You can I suggest that when you put your titles also for your website, aside from the title, you can also include your section. So for example, your section is AAA, and then you are group 5, so AAA G5. I think that's okay. And then you can pick a category, you can put education, or anything, but causes is also good. Your name as the author, and then add your own photo credits. Of course, you put your credits here, as Mom Lori said, don't forget your credits. and then create link. And once you create your link, this is what you're going to copy and this is what you will send to me in Google Classroom. And if I will open that, it will lead me to your website. Simple lang. So those are this is another thing that you can use aside from Wix. I think if this is this is also very easy to use talaga. I'm telling you because this is what my first year students have used for the past 2 years. Okay, so this is your website. Finally, you're going to be doing your video. Your video will be 3 minutes to let's say hindi 3 kasi baka kulang. Let's stick to 4 minutes to 5 minutes long. Now, it's 4 to 5 minutes long, and of course you can borrow the things that Ma'am Lori shared with you last time. You can borrow images on the internet, you can copy some clips, but you need to put your sources. And finally, what is very important for me is that I have to see some of you in the video. So you can do this by probably highlighting some creating like a concept. Eto ang dito kayo magkakatalo-talo. This is where you're going to have a competition. How are you going to present your advocacy in a creative way despite the pandemic? So of course you can borrow some clips, you can use graphs, you can create graphs. One of the key things that I teach students or I tell students to do is that you can go to Microsoft PowerPoint first and then you create your graphics there. Doon yung muna gagawin. And then you just save it as JPEG, save as JPEG or save as images, and that's what you're going to use for your slides. Pwede rin yun. You can use that for your PowerPoint, ay for your final advocacy video. Your advocacy video will have will is going to be 50 points, and it's going 50 to 60. It depends on the output per class. I'm going to check the class average, and you have to show to me that you have to show me to me your faces. So sometimes students are what's this, I know that you're at home, but maybe you can record yourself for a few seconds, maybe for the voiceover maghati-hati kayo and then you just overlay. There are many tips. As long as I see this is a requirement, I need to see at least for 10 to 15 seconds a student. So 10 seconds minimum makikita ko yung mukha mo. 10 seconds is quite long. So let's count. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010. That's already 10 seconds. So if it's quite short, it's okay. Basta meron akong may 10 seconds minimum na makikita kita. So I need to see all of the faces of the members. There are, as you can see in our sessions right now, I'm using Zoom. You may want to be creative to do something like this. I do There are many ways that you can edit your videos. Of course, Ma'am Nori taught you that, but it depends on how you're going to integrate your faces. Be smart about it, be creative. Hindi yung pinagtagpi-tagpi lang. Don't make it look like it's just a tapestry of sorts. Like there's a very good video about the facts, the background, your advocacy about nature, climate, sustainable tourism, fake news, etc. And then finally, biglang may nasingit na mukha mo. So when I say that can see your face, it can be just like this, our video, that my face is on set. That's why I turned on my cam so that you can see even while I'm presenting something, I'm also talking on one side. So you can also do that, okay? You can do that in your presentations, but you can be very creative. There are many ways for you to be creative like that. Okay, and finally, for the if you're wondering what you're going to be doing for the advocacy defense, it's very simple. uh Advocacy defenses are just like this. So we had I used to coach students who are competing nationally for region and national level for advocacy campaigns. Here are some students from from the science high school. I coached them before on their science project, and they presented it in UP Diliman where they got funding. So as you can see, yung mga katabi namin dito, these are actually Chinese businessmen. They are the ones who are funding the project. And how did we get the funding? Because we did a defense. We presented their advocacy campaign properly. So as you can see, this is what an advocacy campaign looks like. you are in there and you're supposed to talk about your project, present it to them. You can be very creative. This is one group, this is another group. Let's look at the UB group was the ano tayo ang champion nung time na to. We were the presenters were the best presenters. And then this is Mr. Gateb. What they did before was it was a broadcasting style. So what they did was they presented it in like they were a broadcasting. He was the radio broadcaster, and then the two were his reporters when they were presenting their science project or their science advocacy. So ayan, see, so may project timeline, may mga ganyan. So, just small things but very important to, just very, very important to take note of. Okay, so those are the things that you're supposed to be working on. I hope it's already clear. Your academic writing is done. Minutes of the meeting, I'll wait for that on Friday. But your infographics and SOCMED, I will wait for that by next week. And finally, yung video and then the website. So I hope that you are working by now. So in terms of deadlines, you have 7 days left for your video and website. And you have, today's December 9th, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You have 5 days left for your infographics and your social media slides. Now, I'll just clarify something. For the advocacy video and advocacy website, the deadline that I'm setting for December 16th is a loose deadline. What does that mean? It means that if your output is good, I will accept that or I will grade it already. I will tell you. Now, of course, that means that once you're submitting and then it's acceptable on the first submission, you get a very good grade. Okay, you get a good grade. But if I see that there's something wrong, something amiss, if I see that the output is compliance sake, I will return the output on December 17th. So December 16th, i-check ko na yan once you submit. December 17, I will tell you which is acceptable and which is not. Those that are acceptable will have a score. Those that are not acceptable, I will return you that, and you have 2 days to fix it, but your scores will already be lower. Okay? I will require you to fix that. I will not accept it if you will not fix it. You have to fix it. Unless you will agree to get zero, bagsak ka na nun. So, you have to fix the video or the website, but the scores will be lower. So, for example, kung nakuha sana yung output mo ng December 16th and you're supposed to have, for example, for the video, you're supposed to have like 50 over 60 or 55 over 60. Maybe because you didn't really commit to it, so I returned it to you. So the highest possible grade that you will get will be, I don't know, 45, something like that over 60 or 40 over 60. So you have to make sure that you are, because this is a group output, one of my suggestions is, of course, you are done with, by this week, you are done with the minutes of the meeting. Maybe paghatian ninyo, two will work on the infographics, two will work on the SOCMED slides. One will start working on the video and website. And once that they are done here, tutulong kayo doon sa 3 and 4. It depends, whatever you want to do by group. All right. So those are just final guidelines for the outputs. I hope that that's clearer. That will not make you ask a lot other questions or a lot more questions. I hope that that's conclusive and um, it covers everything. It's encompassing of what you need for the finals. So with that, good luck, do your best, and I'll talk to you next week. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.